Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the Mike with Mike from your business radio program around. I'm your host, Mike King. I appreciate you being here with me. So this is part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1 every day from 5 to 7 a.m. The Choice 105.3, as well as International Business Group Radio, Saturdays at 10 a.m. You know what time it is. We are ending the week up. We are here with our good friends over at Bryant and Stratton. So we're here today. We're talking about the nursing program. So one of my good Mike, I always say it's a business show. So tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Patricia Cohen, and I'm the Associate Dean of Nursing at Bryant and Stratton College. So I'm the program administrator of both the Associate Degree of Nursing program and the Practical Nursing program.
Okay, so we had some nursing students come in when we came in. You sat down and we asked for volunteers to talk.
Yes, and they're very busy.
Yeah, they're very busy.
Right, they have to get back to class.
And before you came in, they were talking about the countdown.
Yes, we were talking.
Because it's a joyous time. It's kind of nerve-wracking. They're wondering how they did on the exams. Let's talk about the two programs that you guys have here.
Okay, so the associate degree program is for people that want to become a registered nurse. Okay, and it is a 5-semester program. If you are an LPN, there are some avenues for you to test out of some classes, and then it would take a year if there is.
So a 5-semester, those are regular semesters?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so there are three semesters per
year?
year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then our practical nursing program is 3 semesters, so it's a year long. Okay, and then graduates, of course, sit for the NCLEX exam and can become licensed practical nurses.
And when we were here before, you guys have talked about being well known and being well versed, having students ready.
Yes, they are prepared for NCLEX. Yes. We have very strong academic program here, and we have 100% pass rate official for the first quarter in 2022. That's in crazy. Both programs.
You know, people who don't understand, 100% means everybody sat down.
Yes.
And so, you know, when you look at that, it's the pressure to continue to keep going on, because it's not just they're good at taking a test. They're prepared for what's coming after that.
Yes, exactly. Preparing them for practice, safe nursing practice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the nursing profession. So, you know, I was in the Army as a medic. You know, I understand that when we come through the pandemic, the medical profession really took on a different feel to it. It was heightened. The awareness about the medical practice, the medical field was increased. Let's talk about how do students look now coming in compared to pre-pandemic. Is there a difference?
I don't really notice a difference from pre-pandemic, but I think these students know the environment they're going into. Okay.
So the ones before, they didn't know.
We didn't have the pandemic, right? So these students who are willing to come in now know what the environment is like. So it speaks to their tenaciousness. So they're resilient. They're willing to work in this type of environment, and we're preparing them for that.
So when we were here a couple of weeks back, we talked about students show up for the nursing program. They're new, they're excited, they're scared.
They're scared, right.
When do you see, about what semester do you start to see that the light starts to come on and they're like, hey, we could see the end coming? 3 semesters in?
Yeah, like the 3rd semester is usually, it's kind of like a turning point. We teach on, like we call it the flip classroom. So students prepare for class before they come to class, like they get their lecture before. And then when they come to class, we do all experiential type of learning. Like we might take them to the simulation lab, okay? Or we work on the case study method. We have activities that help them learn how to be a nurse, because being a nurse is a practice. So they have to practice during their classroom.
So you give them the information before so they can get ready. That's different.
Yes, we call it a flip. So the theory behind it is they can listen to the lecture, it's maybe a little bit passive, or they have some worksheets they have to fill out to make it more active, because active learning helps you learn better. Okay. And then when they come to the classroom, it's more application of nursing, right? Because when they go to work, they're going to be applying the nursing process.
So from start to finish, how many, when, say, for the ones who want to be RNs, realize that it wasn't for me? But most of the time, I would think the people who start off, they know what they
Yes.
want to do. You're
Yeah.
not losing people because I thought I wanted to. do it.
Right, right. I know.
No,
True.
you're like, no.
Yeah, yeah.
That part does
Yeah.
not happen. So let's look in the environment here.
Uh-huh.
Certain people are drawn to teaching and the educational environment. What does it mean to you?
I love it.
You look like.
I love it. I
So
love being
what
with the
happened
students.
when the pandemic sent everybody home? How did you?
We went, let me tell you something, nursing is always going to be on the front lines of any pandemic. We immediately went to work to figure out how we were going to prepare nurses during this pandemic, and we delivered. I mean, we did a fantastic job of trying to pivot the last minute.
And so are there differences now for training nurses going forward after the pandemic now that we've lived through?
Oh, well, there's not really. I mean, you know, of course,
nursing
they have,
practices are-
yeah, you know, we have to do more COVID testing. We, you know, we all had to get vaccinated, you know, things like that. But we had, you know, we have to learn how to put on our PPE, the personal protection, but we always had to do that, right? You always had to learn how to do that.
When I met my wife, so I was the king and the master of scrubs.
Uh-huh.
Because I met her, we in the Army, we both it's called medac. And so it's people who work in the hospital, live in the dorms, in the barracks together. All I own were scrubs. That was
Uh-huh.
it. Because
That was my life before.
it
Yeah.
was just scrubs.
Yeah, I
you
love
know?
it.
And so, you know, when I see a person with scrubs, it takes me back to the days when we saw people come to the hospital. I always liked working in the ER.
Uh-huh.
Because I like the idea, my wife had worked on the wards and stuff, and she became a nurse, but the idea, I like people, when you fix them up, they got a couple options. They get admitted, they
Uh-huh.
go home, or, you know,
Right.
sometimes the other thing. But it's the idea of helping people be in the medical environment. It's just something that is magical.
Yes.
I don't know if you get it other places, and I've done other things, including this, but it's nothing like the feel of somebody comes in there sick or they're not
Changing
feeling
their
well.
lives or helping them, being there on their worst day, their best day.
That is true. So now, when we talk about culture here, what's the environment like now? Now that we're back and the students are coming.
I think
in?
the students love being back, first of all, and the faculty loves being back. I love being with the students. My faculty, they love being with students. So I think, you know, and we try to make it as fun as it can be in the classroom to make learning more active. So I think I feel like the pulse is good here. Like it's warm and inviting.
It is,
Yeah.
you know, it's a feeling that feels good. So when you did the regular nursing side, what was the draw to come over to academia?
Well, okay, so as I was ending towards my career, I was thinking about retiring. And actually, I was in the food line over here. I just moved here and I saw there was a nursing school and I went home and it popped up and I said, I could love to go teach there. And that's what I did. And I fell in love with teaching.
There is something about being a teacher. So my sister's an educator, and it's something about that field of getting the next group ready.
I feel like I'm so lucky because on one hand, I'm a nurse. On the other hand, I get to teach. You know, I get to teach what I love.
The best of both worlds.
Yes.
Okay, so man, when you were in Kroger, you just went to Kroger just to handle your stuff. You walk out of Kroger with a revelation.
Yeah, I thought I could teach there. I just moved here.
Where'd you move from?
I lived in Georgia for 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, hey, you had never thought about teaching before?
I always did. So
always
when I was, so in my career, I've always loved nursing. And in 2010, I went back to get my master's, and the motivation was I eventually want to teach one day. But I was called into management. You know, I worked a number of jobs, and then when I moved here, it just happens I was looking for a new job, and
so there are a number of other things that Bryant and Stratton does. So it's one of my ESPN Richmond. That's where we're coming to you from, Bryant and Stratton. This is our weekly visit. But nursing is the one that people know you guys for.
Yes,
it
we have a
is.
very good program.
Yeah, I can tell you.
Yeah.
You're excited about
Yeah.
it. And the students are, so they come here, you see they get it. What's grad? So you guys just recently had graduation day.
Yes.
Graduation day is the day that everybody lives for.
Yes.
You know, everybody's happy. They look around, they figure who didn't make it with us.
Yeah.
And then they go, what's it like for the faculty and the staff when you get to graduation?
Oh my gosh, so exciting for us. I just love it. I love seeing them be successful. And I know they're going to go out and do good work.
There you go. Oh, I ask people who come here, and it's obvious that I have to ask you, being in the medical field, what gives you hope?
Gives me hope.
Mhm.
My faith.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you come here, you're looking at the students. There's an environment here. People want to learn. People living. How do you set up a good culture in a place like this where people? It's a lot of moving parts.
Well, I think like just in the nursing program, it's like the faculty, you have to like help the faculty. What do they need to be successful? How can they be happy? Especially like if you're first starting out, teaching is hard.
Teaching
It's hard,
yeah.
right? So you have to make sure they have what they need. Because if you have happy faculty, you're going to have happy students.
Okay,
right?
so now here's I got one good question per show, and this is it. Who saves the caregiver? Because you guys don't.
Right,
stop.
and
You
that's
won't
a very
stop.
good,
Yeah.
very good question because I am not the best at self-care. I'll be the first to admit it,
You
but
see a lot, and you know,
yeah.
you deal with the lot, and sometimes that kind of
Right.
speaks to you.
It can, but I learned early on in my career that you can't take those kind of things home with you. You know,
Spoken
you
like
have
a
to
true
be,
champ.
yeah, you have to be resilient.
Because it is something, you know, and what caregivers go across different lines. It doesn't matter, you know, what field you're in.
Right.
But in the nursing field or psychology or something where you're hearing people's problems, you're seeing people had a tough time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those things get to you, and sometimes you have to sort of leave them, and they don't become yours.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true.
Because I never got the idea of why you put your mask on first in the airplane until maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Right, that's
Because
true.
it's not the natural instinct.
Right.
The natural instinct is.
Right.
Mike, how can people find the information about the nursing program here?
They would call admissions, the admissions department, Mr. Rayford Grady, and he could help them. That's one way they could find out about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the first day. Students show up. What do they look like?
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna just tell you something. We have two things. We have a new student orientation, and we also have a continuing student orientation. And I am at the front door when the continuing students come in, and I direct them and welcome them back. And so they know where they're going. They're happy to see me because they're like, where am I supposed to go?
I'm back, not shocked.
Right. And then in our new student
You can
orientation,
tell from the car?
what,
You
where,
can tell?
well, there are two different places, so that helps too. Yeah. So with the new student orientation, we come right out and tell them, we don't expect you to be perfect the first day. We know you're going to get lost. We're here to help, you know, and we kind of walk them through the process, the expectations, like how we really are invested in making them be successful in this program.
And the students are so proud of 100% passing.
They are, they love that. And I think it's a motivation for them too, you
They keep
know?
it going.
Yes.
That's true. Mike, thank you for tuning in. So thank you for coming on the program. Bryant and Stratton, we are here we come here, it's on Fridays in the morning on ESPN. Richard Mike King here. The nursing program is outstanding. The culture here is amazing. So I'd like to thank you for tuning in. Mike, we'll talk to you soon.